Hey guys, Damon with Guards Lawn Maintenance here. On my way to Norman, Oklahoma, and go watch Sooners beat up on Alabama. And while I was making the drive, I was just sitting here thinking about things that I wish I knew earlier in business. So, funny story, I'm wearing a yard book shirt right now. We ran yard book up until about the 450, $500,000 range. Um, we ran it because it flat out works, guys. So, so there's a lot of people out there talking about software that you really should eventually step up to. There's LMN, there's Aspire, there's Jobber, there's all sorts of stuff out there. Um, so so we made a switch 2 years ago. Um, we tried Element. It did not work out super well for us. A lot of the pain points that we ran into with it were not the software itself. It's the administrative support that you have to give a software like Element. We've also tried Synced Up, um, which again, no software issues with that, but running a heavy maintenance company through Synced Up it was kind of difficult for the time. I think Weston and his team are working on improving that software to work for not just design build companies, which is what it was designed for. Same thing with LMM. It was designed for with design build, snow management, high level reporting, all of these things, and so we kept going back to yard book and we kept running into bottlenecks. And what we found with yard book is actually a lot of the reports that we need inside of yard book were pretty well good enough. And then we started running into automation issues, and that's probably a lack of my knowledge and my ability because as a company that's still well under $1 million, um, we we just kept running into bottlenecks with the software. Yes, you can use Zapier and do a lot of the automations. That being said, um, we did go ahead and demo Jobber, and Jobber is again far from perfect. But a couple of the things that Jobber does super well for my company is it automates a ton of the issues and it centralizes a lot of your communications as well. So if you're using texting, things like that, the dashboard it works a lot better than yard books. It's also significantly more expensive than yard book is. um, but the amount of time that it's bought us back as far as doing a lot of our admin kind of work, and there's a report inside of Jobber called your productivity report. That report ends up bringing so much clarity to your operations. You are able to take as precise. You can pick out a day, and the reporting nowhere close to what you can get out of Element or Synced Up or it's not that kind of software. It is set up well for home service companies, smaller home service companies, and but this team productivity report it is able to give you kind of a bird's eye view of what's going on, who's winning and losing. And I'll tell you right now, in 2025, going into 2026, if you have anybody on that report and it only works if you actually use the software. That's another point. A lot of people don't maximize their software before they're like, this isn't working, and just move on to the next thing. So if you maximize the software, clock in and out, and you're integrated with Gusto, all these integrations are all built in. So we run payroll through Gusto. we run Jobber, and so we're able to see how many hours are the guys actually clocked in, and how many hours are they actually producing. So that's super super important. And guys, honestly, that is your most important metric. Yes, knowing your numbers is important. Yes, having a budget in place is important. Guys, you can hop on Chat GPT, Google Gemini, name an AI, and you can give it all your monthly bills, and it can tell you what you should be charging close enough. But right, so if you have guys that are clocked in for 40 hours a week on this side, and they're only producing 20 hours a week, guys, you got a major problem. And you're never going to make money, even if you price everything out correctly. If your efficiency is under 50%, you're going to be hard pressed to charge what you have to charge per hour and be able to grow. So before you go hop and ship, um, to a new software, if you're able to run a report that says my guys are clocked in for 40 hours a week and they are producing 30 to 35 hours a week, if you're able to get that report, guys, you are light years ahead of everybody else. Every single software is going to have some insane setup. Your goals for your gross profit should be between 40 to 60%, depending on if you're in high profit mode or if you're in growth mode. But if you're not hitting at least 40 to 60% on your gross profit, it you're you're going to run into issues. If you're sitting there looking at your bank account and you're like, man, what in the heck's going on here? Guys, it lives in your efficiency. There's not a tool, there's not a software, there's none of that stuff is going to fix that for you. You have to have the wherewithal to be able to look at a report and say, okay, my guys are only producing 20 hours a week and getting a 40-hour paycheck. And it's just not sustainable. Eventually, you're going to run into headaches, and you can sit there, you can blame your team until you're blue in the face. Until you got something to hold them accountable and they can actually know the score, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. The stats show that. So your two most important metrics that you need to be keeping track of as you continue to grow. And guys, I don't know everything, but those are things that I've started keeping track of and holding my team, my small team accountable. Is what's your efficiency and what's your revenue per hour? Those tie in very very close together. If you're a heavy maintenance company, you should be shooting between 80 to 120 per hour, depending on what kind of maintenance you do. Fertilizer and irrigation will get you closer to that 120. Mowing, you're probably going to be stalling at around 80 something, because it's a grind. It's a grind. Your guys aren't robots. They're not going to go out there and produce at the same level you are, especially if you're not holding them accountable. So, what I would encourage you to do, figure out a way, no matter what software you're running. If you're running Jobber, it's under reports, team productivity, and it only works again if you guys are clocking in and out to every single job. That means owners too. So you're not immune to this. Even if you're running a solo show, you should be able to clock in and out. You're not better than anybody else. And the second that you bring somebody in and you tell them, hey, this is what you need to do, and you're not walking the talk, shame on you at that point. And I say that because I've had that issue. And so guys, none of this is coming down on anybody or I'm better than anybody else. But yeah, you keep track of those two metrics right there. You keep track of your gross profits, and if you're in between 80 to 120 per hour on maintenance, and really any sort of design build, you should be well over 150. If you're in snow, should be probably $200 plus revenue per hour. That's going to be your golden goose. So I'm rocking and rolling with Jobber until we get to a point that those reports, as simple as they are, do not fulfill what we need as a company. But guys, until you're past 2 mil, and you can actually afford to have that administrative support to run an LMN, to run an Aspire, to run some of these high level, and there's a lot of merit for, hey, get in the habit now because eventually you're going to need it. There's a lot of merit to that, and I'm not calling anybody wrong. I'm not saying, hey, you're dumb for doing this, but guys, if you're growing quickly, you've got you've got to be in the field producing revenue or creating revenue. You can't be sitting behind a computer screen all day running reports. And ultimately, it doesn't matter for a company under 2 mil. You should keep an eye on. So I guess three metrics: revenue per hour, team productivity, efficiency, whatever you want to call it. It's effective labor rate is what it's called in accounting terms, or if you want to broaden up your search on how to run these reports. Effective labor rate is what you want to look for. So that's all I got for you guys. I'm gonna go down, watch Oklahoma crush Alabama, and it's gonna be an awesome time. But keep track of those things, and your business is going to be better than it was in 2025. I can guarantee it. I'm going to put a code down in the description. If you guys want to take a look at Jobber, it's really helped streamline a lot of my back end office work. Reporting's not as good as some other softwares, but really it gives you what you need as you continue to push to that, 2, 3, $5 million range, which, statistically we're never going to get there. But if you keep track of those things, it doesn't matter how big your company is, you're going to be happy with what you've got. So we'll see you guys.